Alright, so today I'm going to be talking all about me. Because as if having a YouTube channel wasn't vain enough, I'm going to make an entire video dedicated to myself. So this is my 100th video on YouTube. But what a lot of people may not know is this is just my 100th video on this YouTube channel. Almost all of my other YouTube channels that I've made over the past 13, 14 years are deleted, so don't go around looking for them. The one that's still around, I'm going to show you a couple of clips from, and I'm actually kind of proud of it because it was a big part of my life. But for a 100 video celebration, I kind of want to go back and look at and explore and tell everybody, or at least the few people that are going to watch this, about my history and experience on YouTube, because YouTube has been a massive part of my life. It has shaped me in so many ways. It has affected so many things about who I am and what I enjoy and my hobbies. And even right now, I am wearing my, see if I can get you to show it. Right now, I'm even wearing my Pizza John t-shirt merch for the Vlog Brothers for Pizza Miss. It's a very weird shirt, and it's hard to explain if you don't already know what it is. So that's actually a really good starting point for my history on YouTube. I was 11 years old when I discovered YouTube back in 2007. YouTube started out in 2006, and I discovered it almost immediately afterwards. And it was actually my mother that showed me YouTube. She had introduced me to the Vlog Brothers, John and Hank Green, who are now uberly famous and the founders of VidCon and have done so many other things. Most notably for John, you probably know him from The Fault in Our Stars if you don't know him from YouTube or anything else. But they have podcasts and books and events, multiple YouTube channels. They run Crash Course, SciShow, really just behemoths of the internet. I was introduced to them back in 2007 when they were still doing Brotherhood 2.0. The tagline for it was 365 days of textless communication, or famously textless communication. Now, there have been many different channels that have inspired me over the years to start different channels, and many different things that I have been involved in that have gotten me to go into these different avenues and niches of YouTube. But I'm going to start here in 2007 because that's when I made my very first channel. For those of you that were around in YouTube in 2007, it was an entirely different animal than it is now. I was 11 years old. I had just my mother's old shitty Toshiba laptop, and I honestly don't really remember what I did. I used an old camcorder, and I made some really shitty 2-3 minute vlogs that I didn't know how to edit, so I just uploaded raw footage. But because YouTube was so barren, they got decent views. I mean decent, they got a couple hundred views. I get more than that on some of my stuff now, which now with the massive amount of people on YouTube isn't great, but I'm happy with it. On top of that, I did little walkthroughs on Paint and shit like that with unregistered hypercam. If any of you remember unregistered hypercam, you are some real OGs of YouTube. That was the big thing. Really, back in 2007, it was just the Vlog Brothers that I knew about, and they're the only ones I watched. I watched them every single day, and still to this day, obviously, I'm huge fans of them. I think they have a phenomenal community. But let's move forward to 2009 to 13-year-old Bailey. 13-year-old Bailey was massively into Call of Duty, and Black Ops was the big one back then. And I used to watch people like X-Jaws and White Boy 7th Street. And I'm not just saying this, I was actually very good at Black Ops. It is the only Call of Duty game that I've ever been good at. I could do 40-1, 35-3, just fucking awesome games with any gun, and I kind of wanted to show it off. So I went out and I ordered myself a $35 capture card off of the internet and got it delivered. And I set about to make a YouTube channel where the premise of the YouTube channel was I would take every single gun in the game and I would record myself with just that gun, no attachments, nothing. Just a clean that gun game, see how good I could do, upload my best game footage. But on top of that, I would go in to, I think it was Windows Movie Maker, and I bought this $10 standalone microphone at Walmart that I would just put on my desk, and I would go through and I would talk over the whole game. It was some of the earliest commentary style. I only deleted the YouTube channel because Call of Duty kind of fell off the face, and I sucked at the next game. I think it was Ghost. On top of the playthroughs and the gameplay, I did montages where I would take all these cool clips, mainly clips stolen from my friend Chris's profile because he was much better at sniping than I was, and sniping makes really cool montages. And the very first montage I made was of Darude Sandstorm, and that was actually a really fucking cool montage. I'm proud of that, and again, I wish I had it around. That was a really, really fun time in YouTube. I got super involved with it. I remember the old layout like it was yesterday. It looked amazing, and any of the people back then, even CNanners isn't really around anymore. Call of Duty walkthroughs were what I watched, and a lot of them were just like clean gameplays with no commentary. Very few of them had like live commentary where they're commentating while playing. Towards the end of me doing it, I figured out how to do that. I would set up my old big ass TV by my computer table, and I would record audio into Windows Movie Maker while I was playing the game, and the audio wasn't synced up because I didn't know how to do that either, but it was just an exciting time. So now we skip forward to 2011. 15-year-old Bailey. 15-year-old Bailey had a massive, insanely huge, life-consuming obsession with StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2 is something that I threw my life into alongside a bunch of my friends. It got to the point where I would have a notebook with me at school, and I would just be filling that thing out daily instead of paying attention to class, which I should have. And I would just put in strategies and ideas that I had. I played Zerg. Things that I think would be nice little tricks that I could pull and be creative. Nidus worms, whatever the fuck, because I wasn't all that amazing. The highest I ever made it in StarCraft 2, while even throwing my life into it, was low gold. But it got to a point where my friends and I would have like watch parties for the MLGs, and we actually made a weekend road trip down to MLG Columbus and stayed in a hotel for the weekend, and I got to meet some of my idols in the StarCraft community. I got to see Day9, Idra, Naniwa, all of Evil Genius, who I was a huge fan of back then. And still to this day, I watch Day9 all the time, and back then I watched his StarCraft dailies literally fucking daily. I had started streaming on Twitch because at the time I had a really nice gaming computer built for me by a friend of mine that knows computers very well, and I would download it XSplit, and I would record all of my Twitch streams with XSplit and take my winning games, which were about 1 in 3, and I would upload them onto YouTube. And I didn't have any commentary, it just had music in the background because I was laser focused because I was going to be a pro at this game. That time of my life has some of my favorite memories of all time. I look back on that time of my life just with the highest regard, and a lot of those videos are still actually on YouTube. And a lot of those videos, I think, where I did like 2-base Roach Rush or something like that, and it got like 5,000 or 10,000 views, more than I get on this channel, which I've dedicated myself to and I love. It was a great time. So we're gonna go away from YouTube for just a second here so that you have a little bit of information that'll help in the future of this video. I myself am a writer, very heavily inspired by John Green. I have published 3 novels, self-published. You should buy them. They've been described as alright, meh, and yeah, I read it. I mean, just glowing reviews. I highly recommend you buy them. People have described them as books, so you know. In 2018, I was kind of in a dry spell for writing. I was watching a lot of reviewers on YouTube at the time. I had recently gotten into my own apartment for the very first time, and I just had a lot of free time on my hands where I was watching a lot of movies and a lot of TV shows. So I thought, I can do that. I'm in a little bit of a slump for writing, so I started a blog on Tumblr called Reviews with B, where I did movie reviews and TV show reviews, trailers, books, everything I could think of. Every little bit of media that I consumed, I reviewed. Eventually I moved it over to WordPress, bought my own domain, still have it, it's baileyb.me. I maintained it for a lot of years. Even after starting my own YouTube channel, I would still maintain that blog or website, whatever you want to call it, where I did reviews. Now we move to 2016, 20-year-old Bailey, 20-year-old me. I thought I was such an adult, and looking back only a few years later, so much has changed. But at the time, my wife and I had just met. We moved into a small place together, and she had introduced me to the big names at YouTube, Markiplier and Jacksepticeye. I was still watching Day9 all the time. She was like, well, if you really like gameplay on YouTube, you gotta check out Mark and Jack. And I got sucked in to their Subnautica playthroughs. We still watch them. It's kind of like a marital routine of ours where we save all of their videos as well as PewDiePie's videos and we watch them all together. But I had thought, you know what? I want to give YouTube another shot. I can do this. I had a PS4, she had an Xbox One. We had the camera setups for them, so I literally just set up the camera in front of me on our couch and I would play games on Twitch because I didn't even own anything but my shitty Dell laptop that I got in college that I still use now for editing. So I couldn't exactly stream games from my computer or record games through my computer, so I would stream them on Twitch. And I would pull the VOD off Twitch and I would section it off into like 10, 15-minute pieces. So I'd stream for 2 hours and I'd get like 12 episodes out of that. So I uploaded twice daily because at the time, that's what Mark and Jack were doing. So I got up like hundreds of episodes. Looking back, the hardest I ever worked on that channel was making a cool intro and outro. I got like 70 subs and I realized that, you know, this is cool. These videos are insanely low quality compared to what everybody else in this genre or niche of YouTube is doing. So this isn't going to take off. And I'm not enjoying recording me playing games and commentating as much as I just enjoy sitting down with my wife and playing games with her. That's kind of our thing. So I stopped doing that. But that was my fourth forte into YouTube. It's great going down memory lane. But then I deleted that channel again and I went back to my movie reviews because that had really fallen off. And I had thousands of followers on that one. I was very proud of that. I was kind of well known in the like blogging critic community, still in a little bit. I'd gone back into that. So now we get to this YouTube channel, my current YouTube channel, and what I promise you and myself is my very last YouTube channel. Even if I ever change up niches, I'm not deleting this channel. My biggest regret in YouTube is deleting any of these channels. I wish that I'd kept my one from 2007 and just kept changing genres and niches over the years with that until I got to this, which I love doing because it's a perfect meld of everything that I love about YouTube and enjoy doing. So in 2018, I had decided I don't want to just write reviews on TV shows and books and movies and trailers and what the fuck ever. I want to record them. I want to do YouTube. The biggest thing I've always wanted to do is YouTube. I love it. I love the editing. I love the community. I love how proud I am after putting the effort into the video, especially now. I think I'm putting out my best content that I ever have. I look at it and I think this is quality YouTube that I myself would sit down and watch for a while. I switched over and I was doing a lot of the kind of stuff that like Jeremy Johns and Chris Stuckman were doing on YouTube at the time. Short little 2-3 minute videos. I'd put it one out every other day or every 3 days. I'd bought in Wondershare Filmora and I was using that for like picture in picture and to have some like clips from the trailers and whatnot. But very short videos, very unoriginal thumbnails, I guess. You can go back and look. This is the same channel that I had then. And I just kind of switched over genres while keeping still like the movie review and TV show review. Kind of relate my content these days to like Amanda the Jedi or Mr. GG, Mr. GG, if you know who those people are. Kind of commentary slashed with movie reviews or reviews of any kind. But in March of 2020, I switched up my channel style. I wasn't uploading as often and I wasn't getting any traction on YouTube. I was getting really into people like Danny Gonzalez and Drew Gooden, Cody Ko, Amanda, Mr. GG, all these people. I was getting huge into them and realizing I loved this style of content. I want to do that, but I want to keep the review style to it. I want to talk about the entertainment I consume, but in less a review style and more a commentary style. So that's exactly what I did. You can go back on this channel. You can see my switch from normal review channel to like a entertainment commentary channel. I love what I'm doing now. It's so much fun. I'm working my ass off on the thumbnails and the editing. I mean, every single video takes me 5 to 8 hours from storyboarding until it's uploaded and done. So I do it once a week, once every 2 weeks instead of every other day or twice a day like when I was doing gaming. But I'm so proud of the content I'm putting out. So that's kind of the end of the story I have on YouTube. I just kind of wanted to go down memory lane myself, and I figured I'm on 100 videos now on this channel. It's a wonderful milestone and I'm really, really happy that I've stuck with it. And I'm really happy that I know for a fact I'm gonna keep sticking with it. I have my own office now in our new house that my wife was kind enough to paint this wall of. Let me dedicate an entire room to an office for YouTube that I make exactly 0 cents off of ever. Our whole family spends more time watching YouTube than we do on like Netflix and Hulu. It's still a huge part of my life. I still watch Vlogbrothers, I still watch Day 9, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, all these people. As of recording this right now, down in our house, my office is actually in the loft of our barn. Jacksepticeye's Thankmas is on, and I'm about to go down and watch that with my wife for the rest of the day and watch its Among Us stream. Although I have a small YouTube channel, and maybe it'll always be small, YouTube is such a huge factor in my life, and I just wanted to share that for this 100 video celebration. So thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my other YouTube videos.